and devours our Democratic election. The Raptors are Republicans, by the way. I always appreciate keeping your analysis clear, Ellie, and to your point.
And we are live.
Problems that can destabilize the country.
Good evening, everyone. I call to order the meeting for the Citizens Advisory Council for October 28th, 2021. My name is Orel Henry, and I am the chair. To start off, let's go ahead and start with prayer. So, Mr. Boone, would you lead us in prayer?
Sure. Let's go before the Father. Father in heaven, we honor you. We thank you for this evening. We thank you for this time. We ask that you be with us as we go forward this evening's meeting. We just love you again for all that you continuously do in us and around us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Boone. I'd like to go ahead and call and go down the call roll. So once I call your name, if you can say aye or present, that will be great. Mr. Tim Andrew.
Present.
Mr. Donald Belton.
Present.
Mr. Warren Boone.
Present.
Mr. Jason Hicks.
Present.
Dr. Kelly Jackson. Ms. Kaishona Person. Mr. Robert Sims.
Present.
And Miss Jessica Wynn.
Present.
Okay, thank you. The next thing on our agenda is we're going to welcome our new CAC members and staff. So I want to welcome Mr. Jason Hicks. Mr. Jason Hicks, which ward are you representing?
I am representing at large. Thank you for that welcome, sir.
Thank you, no problem. Mr. Tim Andrew. Welcome.
Evening.
And which ward are you representing?
I am representing Ward 5.
Okay, thank you. And we also have a new staff member, Miss Megan Scales. It's so good to see you.
I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much. For today, we don't have the minutes yet. That's still being finished up. So we will skip over that for the next meeting, all right? So let's go into our old business. Is there anyone that would like to kick us off with the neighborhood updates?
I will do that, Orel. Give me just 1 minute here.
Okay.
I'm going to start off with all the neighborhoods except for Oakview, and I'm going to let you. I don't know where that's coming from. Okay. I will. I'm having an echo. Can you guys hear that?
It's probably Miss Jackson.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hang on, Michelle. Yeah, Miss Jackson, looks like you are on 2 different devices.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's it. I'm going to start off with the neighborhood updates, and then you and or Jessica can talk about Oakview. I won't go into the Oakview piece. You guys can do that. With Burns Hill, they are still meeting in person at the Moorhead Recreation Center at 6:00 p.m. They, as you know, they meet on the second Monday of each month. They are talking about, and they're excited because they're seeing a decrease in crime. They're seeing more people come to their food pantry and visit their community garden. They're planning right now to give out Thanksgiving boxes, special Thanksgiving boxes for Thanksgiving. So they're getting that ready. Let me see here. They want you guys to know that the garden is doing very well, and they are waiting to have their first batch of collard greens by mid-November, just in time for Thanksgiving. They're going to plan a trick or eat event on Saturday, October the 30th from 12 to 2 p.m. And what they're planning on doing is giving out bags of food, and it will be a first come, first served basis. And then they'll be giving out goodie bags to the kids with nutritional snacks. For Holland Mills, their president actually had knee surgery, so she's out for a little bit, but they're not meeting in person, nor are they meeting via Zoom. What they are doing is just calling and connecting with their members via the phone, but no regular meetings. They are not planning on doing anything for Thanksgiving, but for Christmas, they're not going to have a Christmas parade like they did last year in the neighborhood, but they are going to have an event in the church parking lot where they will have Santa and Mrs. Claus, and then they will give out Christmas stockings to residents and to some of the kids, and they will have cookies and hot chocolate and milk for those who attend. And they basically said over the past couple of weeks, they had 2 deaths in their community. And one of them was an elderly person, and the other one was somebody overdosed. And so that's where Holland Mills is right now. London Woods is in the process of reorganizing. They have elected new officers. They're still meeting in person for right now. And they're planning on doing something with just their executive team in December for Christmas. Persian Street, Yolanda, who's the president, just lost her father on October the 10th. And right now they're not meeting in person. We just did Operation Inasmuch in that neighborhood. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And then one of their concerns right now is that people are really speeding on the streets in their neighborhood. And so that was a concern that they had. Washington Street will have a ribbon cutting on November the 17th from 11:30 to 1 o'clock. The DIA in Washington Street is an organization that's there that work with kids. And so they have gotten a grant from the Condon Foundation. So they're going to be opening up the Condon Wellness and Education Center at 517 Washington Street. And they will have that ribbon cutting on the 17th. On November the 18th, they're going to have a Thanksgiving dinner in the parking lot of DIA, and they're going to give out food boxes from 5 o'clock to 6:30. I have no report for Washington Terrace, for Southside, for Hayland Historical, West End, or Macedonia, except for in Macedonia, we actually, that was another neighborhood that we did Operation Inasmuch in this weekend. And so you or Jessica or both can talk about Oakview.
Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, I'll just pitch in on Oakview. This month here, we had an event for domestic violence month. So we had some panelists that was there that was held at the Oakview Rec Center. And that, I believe that went very well. It wasn't as many people as we hoped it was going to be, but we were grateful and hopeful that the information that was shared, especially those that was in attendance, that they were able to get information that they need to go forward with things that they have going on. Other than that, we do have a raffle that we have coming up that's going to be for the month of December. And we have an event that we're planning. It's not quite finished yet, but we're hoping that we are able to collect some monies and do some things for the end of the year to be able to do something for the citizens and our neighbors in this ward here for Oakview. Other than that, Michelle, I did speak with Mr. Mingo last night, and Rock can probably speak some more on this, but he did wanted to share and let us know that they do have that youth summit that's coming up. And so starting next month, there's gonna be 5 free workshops. So every month there's gonna be a workshop that's gonna be free, and it's mainly for middle school and high schoolers. And so every month is gonna be a different topic. Like for example, I believe November, they're gonna be talking about how to interact with law enforcement. And so like I said, it's gonna be like 5 months of these free workshops. And then that's gonna kick off I believe it's in April. As a matter of fact, yeah, it's April 18th to the 20th. There's going to be a 3-day youth summit. So once again, Mr. Mingo wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. All these meetings are going to be held at the Moorhead Rec Center. And that's all I got from Mr. Mingo for Burns Hill.
Excuse me, Chairman O'Reilly.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to piggyback off of that. And
Yes, sir.
just let everybody know that the workshops are the second Saturday of each month.
Okay.
So November the 13th, you do have the first one. That series is talking to law enforcement. December the 11th, we're talking teen mental health, teen dating violence. January the 8th, we're speaking about community involvement. And then February 12th, we've got diversity. March 12th, which is career explorations, I'm sorry. And then the big one is in April. So that's a 3-day event that we're going to have at Moorhead Recreation Center. All right. Transportation can be provided, and you can sign up either at Moorhead, or there is, I think you can contact Mr. Mingo either by email or by phone, and he can get the kids registered.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Sims.
Thank you.
Anyone else that has anything for neighborhood updates? Okay. All right, we'll move on. Michelle, do you have anything for Operation Inasmuch? Any updates?
I do, but before we do that, and I should have mentioned this earlier, can everybody go around and introduce themselves for the 2 new people who don't know who we are as we're talking? If they introduce themselves to us, but they don't know who we are. So, if we could do that before we start, that would be great, Aurel.
Sure, that sounds good. So I am Aurel Henry. I am the chair, and I represent Ward 2. Miss Jessica? Did we lose Jessica? Oh, there you go.
I stepped out for a second.
Hey, Miss Jessica, we are introducing ourselves. So if you can mention your name and which ward you represent and your position for the new members.
Wonderful. My name is Jessica Wynn. I represent Ward 4, and I work with the High Point Market Authority.
And what is your position here with CSE?
Oh, sorry about that. I'm vice chair.
No problem.
I'm Warren Boone, Ward 6.
Don Belton. I'm at large.
Dr. Kelly Jackson at large.
And I believe that's it.
Did Rob introduce himself?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's right. Hey, Rob.
Hey, Rob Sims, Ward 3 representative for Citizens Advisory Council. I work in community advocacy. I work with a group called WRLP, and we're all about employment, education, and emergency services. So I'm glad to see everybody here this evening. Very excited about our new members and wanted to say welcome, guys.
And then can you have staff to go ahead and introduce themselves also?
Yep.
I'll start. Good evening. I'm Nina Wilson, Nina Wilson, and I'm currently serving as the interim director while Mike is on leave. I'm the assistant director for community development and housing.
I am the administrative assistant. I'm Kaisha, and I work for community development and housing.
And I am Michelle McNair, and I am the community resource manager for community development and housing. And you guys met Megan. I don't know if she's going to introduce herself, but you guys met Megan.
Yes, very excited to be here. And so I'm the new community resource specialist filling Alicia's shoes, and I'm really excited to work with everyone.
And Mike, I don't know if you wanted to say something. Maybe not. Oh.
I am not here.
Mike is not here. Okay. All right, thank you. You want me to go ahead and talk about
Yes,
Operation
ma'am.
Inasmuch?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
On Saturday, October the 23rd, we conducted Operation Inasmuch. And for those of you that don't know about Operation Inasmuch, it's something that we started back in 2016. And what happens is we do one day of service where we go out into a community that's been identified and do repairs, yard work, or anything that that community needs for one day. And sometimes it leads over into days before and maybe days after, depending on what the project is. We do 2 Operation Inasmuch a year. And what happens, the city will provide the resources in terms of the materials and stuff of that nature to do Operation Inasmuch. And then we have 2 organizations, Community Housing Solutions and Housing Consulting Group, that sort of pulls all this together, get the volunteers to be able to help do the labor work for Operation Inasmuch. And we're mainly in low to high income communities is where we go to do this work. And on Saturday, we did Operation Inasmuch in the Persian Street neighborhood and the Macedonia neighborhood. We had 135 volunteers. We completed 10 houses. We got 3 houses that we're going to be working on this week, for a total of 13 houses that was worked on for Operation Inasmuch. It was I think a good time. We had people as young as 13 to people as old as probably 65, 67, 68, something like that. But it was a great opportunity. I think the residents was very pleased with the service that was performed. And Dr. Jackson was there, and she can tell you a little bit about her experience. And Megan was there, and she can probably tell you a little bit about her experience. And Nina was also there. So we were all there supporting that event.
Thank you, Michelle. Dr. Jackson, would you like to just get a few words on what your experience was?
Oh, it was awesome. We did landscaping, painting, and staining of the front porch gates. They gave us, they provided us with shirts, so we all looked like, kind of like we belong, and we worked as a team. I met new friends. There was a lot of collaboration and congregating with new people. The lady of the house that we worked at was very appreciative. It wasn't like, I'm getting this for free. She didn't stand over us with her arms folded and say, do this, like this. She was just so appreciative. I've worked there until I think about 2 or 3. I went back after lunch to put the second coat on, and for absolutely no pay, it was one of the most exhilarating feelings to be able to help someone and then them appreciate it. I just felt so good after that day. I felt really proud of myself and very, very good. It was an amazing opportunity. And they fed us, we got lunch, sandwiches and stuff like that. So that's always good when you can go eat.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson. You're right about that. Hey, Nina, what was your experience like?
Orel, I really just dropped in just to kind of get an update, just to make sure everything was going smoothly, and that just to see if they needed anything. And of course, Michelle and Housing Consultants Group and Community Housing Solutions, they had everything under control. I think it turned out, the weather was great. I think it turned out to be a really good day for the volunteers and for the homeowners.
Thank you, Nina. Hey, Megan, what was your experience like?
Yeah, it was a really wonderful event. It was my first time participating, and I had the great experience of being able to help transport the volunteers to different sites. And that was just it was great because I got to see firsthand kind of their experience and what they were learning about, different neighborhoods that they may or may not have been in before. And it just also seemed like a much needed day of service, considering, maybe some of the economic impact that COVID has had in certain areas that people may not have necessarily been able to have those repairs made or couldn't do those, those needed tasks on their own. So it was just a really great experience, and I'm really excited to participate again.
Thank you, Megan. One of the things that I do want to say, I had a conflict, so I was not able to go this time, but I did attend 2 years ago, which seems like a long time ago because of COVID. But I tell you what, I do echo the sentiments. One of the things that I saw and I experienced was these are our neighbors. And just to hear and to feel, really sincerely feel the gratitude, for the homes that we went to help. It was just mind blowing. The hospitality as well. Even as we were there, the folks that, home that we're working on, how they were, wanting to give us water and even prayer, as we were there, that was overwhelming. And then to see them at the end, just really shower us with appreciation. The other thing was that I experienced that was awesome was a lot of times we hear a lot of the names of the different folks in our community, in particular leaders, in particular public leaders, but to actually see them pick up a hammer and nail and actually help, that to me, from the council folks to other public officials, that really was good. And to see them interact as well with the neighbors and with the public, I thought that was amazing. So I'm saying that to say that for those of you, because as Michelle mentioned, this happens twice a year. So I believe the next one is going to be in April. But Michelle or probably Nina is going to update us. But I really urge y'all, and I will do the same, that on the next one, us as CAC members to volunteer, because I will tell you what, to hear us talk about it is not going to be the same as you experiencing it for yourself. Okay. So once again, thank you guys for being there and for what you're doing in our community. All right,
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Belton, I just wanted to echo the sentiments that have been shared with around the table there. I've had the opportunity to participate also. Same as you, unfortunately, my schedule would not allow me to participate this past weekend. I miss it, and even more so listening to each one's personal experience. And I want to echo that it's a life-changing experience, and we should encourage others to participate.
Thank you, Mr. Belton. Thank you. You're absolutely correct. Okay, let's move on. Miss Nina, would you like to share with us the CDBG and CDBG CV grant update?
That would be me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Michelle.
That's fine. We have a couple different things. Michelle's going to talk about the actual funding and the agencies that you all have already allocated funds to, and then I'll talk to you about the substantial amendment that we're getting ready to put forward for approval.
Okay, sure. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as you guys know, for CDBG CV, we actually gave out, we awarded 10 agencies, and out of those 10 agencies, 6 of them have already completed their project. Well, let me take that back. It was really 9, but we awarded Open Door got twice. So, but 6 of them have already completed their project, and 4 of them are still in progress. They should be finishing up in December. I think everybody is probably moving along pretty well in terms of, spending the money down and making sure that that's all done. Yeah, most of them are either at 50% or a little bit over 50% of the spending down their money for the CDBG grants. We also have 2020-21 grants. We actually awarded 9 grantees. 5 of those are completed. 3 of those are in process. And as you guys remember, one of them surrendered, which was the mental health, because of the requirements that was required. They could not provide us with the documentation that we needed. And so they had to surrender their grant. And for the most part, these grantees would also finish up their grant awards also in November. I'm sorry, in December.
Okay, so as far as you know, Michelle, no one has asked for an extension.
Well, some of them have for the, let me see here, not for CV.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has asked for an extension for CV because we had already had them going out to December. But for the 2020-21, we have had 3 extensions: West End, Helping Hands Ministry, and the YWCA.
Okay.
Okay. And then for this is sort of unusual because we got 3 different sets of grants going on at one time.
Right.
And the last one is the ones that we most recently gave out, which is the FY 21-22. And there was 10 grantees, and all of them are still in the progress of just, going through the process and, providing those type of services that you guys actually funded.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Is that it, Michelle?
That's it. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. Hey, Nina, do you have anything to add for this old business?
Well, the substantial amendment, I'm not sure if that would be old business.
Yes, I was gonna say, yeah. Is that considered old or new, Michelle?
Yeah, no, that one would just go underneath Nina's updates. Her name is there for her updates. Yes.
Okay, got it.
Good deal.
Okay, good deal. All right, so that will conclude our old business. So for let's go ahead and go on the next agenda item, which is gonna be new business. Is there any new business? Going once, going twice. Okay. All right, we'll move forward. Next on the agenda.
Can I butt in just a minute?
Yeah, sure.
Now that we have 4 new individuals, new CAC members, we're gonna set up, hopefully in the near future, maybe November, it might be early December, orientation for you guys, so that you guys will know exactly what it is that we're doing and why we do what we do. And so you'll be getting something from us in terms of doing the orientations.
Okay, thank you, Michelle.
I think we just lost somebody.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too. I'm trying to figure out who that was.
It was Tim. Nope, not Tim. Jason.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks like he just got back. Is Mr. Sims? Mr. Sims, do you have your hand up?
Yes, sir, I do, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, go ahead. You have the floor.
Thank you, sir. I apologize. I was trying to get back in before we left old business. And I just had some questions from Michelle as far as the grants. And what are the deadlines for the 3 grants?
For the CV grant, they should be finished in December. For the 2020-21, those grantees, some of them, like I said, 5 are already completed. And the 3 that I mentioned to you guys are the ones that been extended to December. And for the 2021-22, that is June of 2022.
Okay. Are these? Are these 3 programs going to be extended into next year?
What you talking about, the 3 grants? The 3
Yes.
grants that we're doing?
Yes.
Right now, we're hoping that the agencies will complete at the times that they're supposed to, but they can ask for extensions.
Okay, no,
So
I was
can't-
asking, is there going to be another program next year? Is there going to be another grant under CV? Will
Oh,
there
yeah,
be-
we will actually, every year we do CV grants, yes. And so we will actually start to advertise in November or early December for next year's grants.
And for clarification, Rob, did you say CD or CB as in the CARES Act?
I'm sorry.
No, I was actually asking about CV, coronavirus.
CB.
Oh,
Okay,
I'm
that's
sorry.
what I thought you were saying. Okay. That's what you said. Right now, we don't, beyond the funds that have already been allocated to services activities, we don't anticipate doing another RFP for the CV funds.
Okay. So will there be something for this CB grant? I think I heard you mention.
Yeah, for the regular CDP, public services, you all will do the same RFP and application process that you do each year.
Okay. So there's going to be one grant that will be administering next year, just the CDBG.
Right, just our regular CDBG allocation, which as Michelle said, you all will probably start that process December, January timeframe as far as the orientation, accepting applications, and then you all, of course, will review those February, March timeframe, and then those funds would be available July 1 of 2022. So it would be that following program year. The 3 grants that requested extensions, of course, that was last year. And so we do anticipate that those programs should be wrapped up by December. Hopefully they will. We're hoping that they won't need to extend any further. But, there are definitely, we're living in some different times, and people, of course, are experiencing different things and delays and just certain things when it comes to implementing their programs. So we try to be very cognizant of that and, work with them if we can see that they are making progress meeting their goals.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. Is there anything else, Rob, or are you good?
Let me lower my hand. I'm good for now. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else has any questions on the old business? And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, last year, I think it was November/early December is when the RFPs went out. So it does fall in line with the applications going out, and then we were able, I believe it was January, and January, February is when we were able to review them.
Yes, February, you will be reviewing the new grantees. In January, the old grantees will come before you to do a mid-year review.
Sure. Yep. Got it. Thank you. Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. You got the floor.
Just a quick question. Actually, a question for Michelle McNair. She had mentioned that there was going to be 3 other projects this week for the In As Much that would be completed. Is that something where volunteers are still needed?
I think they already have the volunteers they need, but maybe you can give me a call and I'll see if they're in need of someone else, and maybe we can hook you up with the teams that are already out there if you want to volunteer.
Okay, I'll reach out to you this week then. I just had a conflict Saturday, but being that there's still an opportunity, I was just curious. So,
okay, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jason. That works. Thank you. On the next on the agenda, we have the community development and housing updates. So, Miss Nina Wilson, you can take it away.
Okay, thank you. What I wanted to just discuss with you, it's not a presentation, but just to discuss with you the substantial amendment for our 2019 annual action plan that we're proposing for our CDBG CV3 funds. This will be the third amendment that we have made to our 2019 annual action plan. And of course, the reason that we continue to amend the 2019 plan is that HUD's guidance basically said that whatever action plan you amended for that first round of allocations, that you continue to amend that same plan. So we're still operating under the 2019 annual action plan for those CARES Act funds. So if you recall, the first amendment was to actually allocate and accept our first round of funding. The second allocation was, there was a second amendment for the second allocation, and those funds were allocated to a public facilities project. We had not identified the project, still have not identified a project, but that is something that we wanted to take some time to try to evaluate and just see what were going to be the greatest needs in the community. As of right now, we still have not identified a specific project for the funds. So in the meantime, though, the city has been approached by our homeless shelter providers regarding the winter shelter White Flag expansion. And in talking with staff and with management and looking at and reviewing a proposal that was submitted by the shelter providers, and that includes Open Door, Salvation Army, and West End Ministries. In reviewing that proposal, we did see how it falls in line with the intent of the coronavirus funds. When we look at our homeless shelters, they already have had to reduce the number of beds and their capacity because of the social distancing requirements and the other COVID protocols. So when we talk about an expansion of winter shelter White Flag, it seemed to just fall in line with something that would be appropriate for the funding. And so basically, winter shelter is not anything new. White Flag is not anything new. Of course, if you're not familiar with it, that basically whenever the temperatures fall below a certain degree, below a certain level, from the months of December to March, then that is when these additional beds are made available. And so with these three agencies, they are proposing to expand the shelter capacity, and they have requested $162,850. So we're proposing to amend our 2019 annual action plan to allocate the $162,850 among the three agencies that I mentioned. And just ballpark, you're looking at West End Ministries and Open Door about $60,000 each, and Salvation Army 40-some thousand is what they were proposing so that they can provide those additional beds. And so the draft substantial amendment is available for public review right now, in line with HUD's requirements and waivers for public review and citizen comment. We were allowed to do a 5-day public review period, and that began on Monday, this past Monday, the 25th, through tomorrow, the 29th. And that is available in our office, on the website, or it can be requested through the public information portal if anyone wants a hard copy of the substantial amendment. It's just a page, it's just a couple pages. It's not anything in depth, but just basically describes the fact that we do want to reprogram that $162,850. The second allocation was $588,651. And so we're looking to take that portion, that 162 from that 588 that was allocated for public facilities. And so that is what we'll be proposing to council. It will be presented to the CD committee on Tuesday. And then it would go to council for approval on November 15th, the second meeting in November. And then given that it meets, it's approved by all those involved, then we will move that forward, of course, for HUD's approval. So we're presenting it to you tonight for any questions, comments, or for recommendations as far as moving it forward.
I have a question.
Sounds good. Yep, I was gonna ready to open the floor for questions. So, Rob, you have the floor.
Thank you, sir. With the amount going to the shelter programs, what happens with the remainder of that 588?
It remains in the public facilities. It will remain in a public facilities activity. That's where we put it, or where it was allocated, programmed with that second amendment. So that balance remains there. Just basically waiting for us to identify a project. And I will add that in conversations with our new city manager, one of the things that she is really looking to do is to establish long-term solutions. So she's on board with us reallocating the 160, 162, but is really looking for us to look at some more long-range things, those things that can be sustained long-term to maybe combat some of the homeless issues and problems and things that we're experiencing in the community.
Okay. Now I've asked this before, and I'm gonna just mention it again. Is it possible to allocate some of that money to the CAC grants that we're getting ready to come up with in November, December?
Okay, those funds, I'm not going to say it's not possible. Again, I'm just kind of saying kind of the guidance, I guess, that we've gotten from management. But as if there are activities and programs that do still need support, that activities that are directly related to COVID, it's basically to prepare for, respond to those types of things, then I imagine that it's a possibility. But right now, the idea is that those funds would be set aside for some long-term project. And I'll just put it, I think it's been discussed before and mentioned before that, of course, we're looking for a facility that can be used as a homeless day center. With maybe additional supportive housing or permanent supportive housing on site. So when we talk about long-term solutions and putting the money into public facilities, that's the type of thing that we're looking at possibly doing with those additional funds. Granted, those funds will not pay for a complete project, but to maybe at least have funding that can be used toward acquisition and securing a facility. That's what our hope is.
All right, thank you. Hey, Rob, do you have any other questions?
Nah, not now, but give me a minute. I'm gonna come up with one.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Is there any other CAC members that have questions? Because now is the time to ask.
Dr. Jackson. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Dr. Jackson. You have the floor.
Yes, I was wondering, for the public facilities project, have you all considered the Presbyterian Home of High Point or the Radisson Hotel, since they're both, previously were used for, residential, places people stayed for long-term care. And then of course the Radisson, I'm not sure with the furniture market and everything, how that would impact if it became a homeless shelter. I don't know if that would be even optional. I see you shaking your head no.
No,
I didn't think so.
Not within that location. That would not be consistent with the business district and things that are actually
Right.
happening within the downtown area.
Yeah, I figured that. I was thinking. And then the Presbyterian home, I mean, it's sitting there. Of course, the longer a vacant building sits, the more work it's going to need.
And can
But
you tell me, and I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with exactly where that is.
Are you familiar with 5 Points?
Okay, so so that building has come up in conversation. We've not toured it, we've not looked at it or anything like that, but it has come up in conversation. I believe the county may own that facility, if I'm not mistaken. It's the one that's in 5 Points that sits on the corner there.
Yeah.
But right. It has come up in conversation, but has not really taken hold of that.
So as long as they know that
it's not a consideration, though. That's not to say that it's not a consideration. And I know that I've actually mentioned it to our director in the past. We've talked about that building, but it's just not. It hasn't taken hold, I'll say.
okay, because from the looks of it now, I believe some homeless people already found out about it. Okay, enough said there.
Right, we understand.
Actually, Dr. Jackson, I'm lifting my hood and coming back out here. That building.
I thought you weren't here, Mike.
I'm not. Don't call my name. I'm not here.
Wow.
But
Gotcha.
that building has 3 sections that were built at different times, and so part of it is probably suitable for single room occupancy or something like that. But frankly, there's a reason why it's still there. And it really needs to be demolished.
Oh, it needs to be demolished.
I think so. I think it's, I mean, I've been in there. I don't know if you've been.
No,
But,
more along the lines of environmental concerns, Mike. Isn't that primarily the issue?
Well, you got parts that age from, I think the oldest part was built maybe even 50s. Then there's a part that was built in the 70s. But it's got 2 or 3 different, I actually have an appraisal of property that was done, I guess in 2008 or something. But it didn't strike us as an easy project to take on. It required more money than we had available.
to bring it up to code, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gone.
But
Okay.
the one thing that I will add to that, though, is that, because the city is getting additional funds, our department has received additional funds, those are the types of long-term projects that we do want to try to invest in, whether it be, I know that there have been, other buildings that have been looked at and are being looked at. Some will be a heavy lift if we were to decide to go in that direction, just like Presbyterian Home would be. But now is I think an opportune time for us to maybe look at doing some projects like that, something that could be sustained long term.
Yeah, if that's combined with, if the facilities fund is combined with I think it's the American Relief Fund money from the city, and then the money from the county, I'm sure they could flip that Presbyterian home easily.
Quite possible.
Is that all you got, Dr. Jackson? Thank you, Dr. Jackson. Hey, Jason. I see your hands up.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention,
You got the floor.
just as an option to maybe put on the radar would be over on Green Drive, there's the Travel Inn Express. It's currently a hotel. It's been there for a long time. And I'm in that area, 5 days a week. A lot of traffic, and a lot of long-term residents at that hotel, from my understanding. So just mentioning that as maybe an option for a long-term solution to houselessness within the city.
Okay, the city is actually working with the owners, I'll say, and trying to address some of the concerns at that location. Right now, the issues are within the inspections department and with local codes. Now, they did go out this week, our local codes division, along with Partners Ending Homelessness, to actually try to better assess how many individuals and families are actually living there or staying there long term. That we know that the Travel Inn, it was not, I'll say, built or set up to be an extended stay. So the way that it's currently operating, it is not the way that it should be. So the city is definitely working with the owners to remedy or try to remedy that. And that is definitely something that city staff has been meeting about that particular location.
Okay, yeah, I know that last year in 2020, it kind of started coming up as a point of conversation. Well, probably long before then, but it really became a point of focus last year, I believe, and maybe before, but that's when I really heard about it. So, but I can tell you from being over there, my opinion and the opinion of other people that are in that area regularly, there's still a big issue, just with foot traffic and a lot of drugs and quite a few other things. So just mentioning that is maybe just, if it's being worked on, that it is, but I think if it was set up as a different kind of facility, I think, in my opinion, is if there's an alternative to what's going on, then maybe things would change versus, the way it's set up now. It's just a repeat of habit and repeat of behaviors that are leading to the problems over there, because there's nothing else. There's nothing else over there for that group or that community to do currently. So, I mean, I think if something else was there that would be made available, it may change kind of the outlook of that area.
Right. I think everyone would agree with you in those statements. But I do know that the city, we are working within, I would say, our realm of authority when it comes to ordinances, also working with the legal department. So it's definitely on our radar. We are working to see what we can do to address it. But again, we're dealing with a private business owner and just trying to work through that process so that we do make sure that we follow proper procedure and protocols when it comes to their rights as a business owner and as a property owner.
Okay, that's great. I don't understand that. Yeah,
we're trying to work through it. That's for sure. So it is definitely on our radar.
All right, that's great, and I think we got to respect the business for sure. So one other question though, real quick, the 162,850, is that basically is that funding going to be basically enough to get through the winter, this coming winter, like this white flag season? Is that the idea?
Yes.
Okay.
What we proposed is that we would fund the first year with these CV funds, and not to take anything away from their presentation on Tuesday, but the providers will be doing a presentation for the CD committee. And one of the things that they will be asking for is continued funding so that they can sustain this. Again, this is not the first year that this has come up, but it's just never actually come up at a time that City Council was looking at the budget and those things like that. So we really have been trying to work with them to make sure that the timing is right when they approach council for funding. For funding for this year, that was last year. So that's why we're trying to get them in front of council now for future funding. So just trying to make sure that we can make sure that the timeline is correct and that they are able to present and kind of get that on the table now so that they can sustain the expansions for future years.
All right. Thank you so much for that clarity.
Sure.
Thank you, Jason. Any other questions on this matter from the CAC panel? Okay, I just have one question, Nina.
Yeah.
If when November 15th come, if it's approved by the council, has it been set up? Have you all talked about how it's going to be dispersed? In other words, is the money going to be dispersed one shot, or is it going to be dispersed over time based on drafts and certain times when they request the money, like we've done before for CDBG?
Exactly. It will be the exact same way we do our public services contracts. Each organization will have a separate contract, and they will have to request reimbursement for their expenses, just like they normally would. And we've let them know that going through this process may take a little time. So we may not be able to get contracts to them by the time that they open December 1, but we have told them that we will be able to provide the funding once HUD sends us that approval.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and the white flag season actually starts in November, or if the temperature drops down even lower in that time frame.
Yeah.
But as Nina said, the agencies probably won't start until December or either later because they just don't have the funding right now to be able to do what they need to get done. So, if this doesn't happen, they may not do a white flag. So.
Okay, thank you. And I know it's crucial, especially as winter's around the corner. So hopefully as that stuff goes through, the weather is not that bad before we can get things in place, because, again, this is really crucial. Where we can where we need to help our neighbors. I mean, these are our neighbors, and so they need a place to stay. So one more time, is there any other questions before we move on? Okay, thank you. Well, next on the agenda is we're supposed to have city council updates, but I do not see Councilman Jefferson, Mr. Cyril. Is there anyone that wants to do a stand-in from staff that can give us an update? Okay, I see Michelle and Nina. Okay. All right, we'll
No, I don't have anything in those regards, no.
Okay, it's we will move forward, and next month hopefully we can get an update from City Council or a representative. Next on the agenda we have announcements. So the floor is open for those that may have announcement. But before I go there, I just want to announce that our next CAC meeting is gonna be on November 18th. Remember we did this last year where we did it a week before, and as the week that we would have our meeting will be the week of Thanksgiving, and I'm pretty sure no one is gonna be here for that week. So like last year we decided to do it a week before, so that's what we're doing here. So once again, the next CAC meeting is gonna be on November 18th. Okay.
And Ariel, I just would like to say something, and I apologize when
Yes,
everybody
ma'am.
was doing their introduction that we did not introduce Gabby, which she was introduced the last time, but not to the new members. So Gabby is our AmeriCorps Vista volunteer. And Gabby, would you like to say something? If she's there. Maybe she stepped away. But Gabby is our AmeriCorps Vista volunteer, and she'll be with us until August.
Okay. Yep. Thank you for that, Michelle. Who would like to open up the floor to talk about any announcements, whether it's in your community or something in the area that you want to bring to our attention? One of the things that I will bring up was this past Monday, there was a meeting, a meeting with the county commissioners at City Council, the City Council, and it was a very informative meeting. I also was there, and Dr. Jackson, I met Dr. Jackson there as well. But that meeting was very informative, so that we can hear, what's going on with the with ARP, which is the American Rescue Plan, and how they pretty much wanted to hear from the community, which is us in High Point, and I really love the fact that High Point was really represented by those in attendance. It was good for the commissioners to also see those and hear the concerns that the people had in the community. One of the things that I got away from it was, and the chair also mentioned it, was that because we were there and we were there in full strength, he really felt that High Point really is, there are needs in High Point, and we have plans in place, but we need the help of the commissioners to make sure that we're not left out, as they give these funds. And so I believe that it was great. Of course, Carvina Foster was there, and I'm pretty sure that she was excited that we were there to voice in person the different ones that came up and talked about what their needs are. And so I just want to first of all thank the folks that were there, and just thank High Point as a whole to really voice us. They heard from us what our needs are, and the areas that we need funding, and the things that we need to get done to make our city better.
Yeah, may I second that?
Yes.
Or do I need to raise my hand?
Go ahead. Nope, you go ahead. You have the floor.
Okay. Yes, I was there. I was one of the people who went up and spoke. I did not expect for the session to be like that, where you had to go up to the podium and speak. I thought it was just kind of conversation or presentation. But I did speak about the water situation in High Point in the 27260 area code, zip code. I keep calling it area code, or the area around Green Drive, West Ward Avenue, and Harbor Park, where there were studies done that the results show that there are high concentrations of lead, mercury, and chromium, way above the recommended levels, the recommended United States EPA drinking water standards. So not only are our babies getting poor drinking water, but any adult, pregnant women, our elderly, and we know how important water is and how important it is for us to have good, healthy water. So I really want them to, I got kind of passionate, kind of shaky when I was mentioning it, but it's sad how the disadvantaged areas in High Point get a shafty deal when it comes to something as simple as drinking water. And one lady did mention how at one point, all of us received light bulbs in the mail, that had to cost something. You could replace all the light bulbs in your house to save money, or solar, or let them last longer or something. It wouldn't be anything for them to send water filters to houses so they could just put them on their sink so they could have clean drinking water. But yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone else that has any announcements? Okay. CAC members, is there anything for our next meeting? Is there anything that you would like for me to put as far as any agenda items you would like for me to share, at least with our team here for our next meeting? And y'all have to all speak at once. Mr. Belton, was that you that wanted to say something?
No, sir, it was not me, but thank you.
I thought I heard someone try to chime in. I'm not sure who that is. I was trying to figure out who that was. Okay. If there's not anything else as far as agenda items, I'll just move forward. All right. So once again, the next meeting is going to be November 18th. So last point is there any last minute thing that you would like, someone would like to say before we adjourn this meeting?
Will our orientation be at that meeting? The
No,
one that
your orientation will be done away from this meeting. It'll be a different meeting.
Okay.
Thank you, Michelle. I think that's the last item. So that being said, would someone like, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
A motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.